Hey everyone, Kevin Keinert here. You caught me right in the middle of restoring two World's Fair Jig-Saw pinball machines, Rockola 1933. They've been taken completely apart and repainted the areas that are seen. Got legs here being painted. All of the individual pieces from inside have been taken apart. I'm going to start cleaning these up. So you have the ball lifting mechanism there, and these are all the little pieces that work the puzzle, the rods that pull on it. Cabinets over here, they've already been sanded and repainted. Got one more coat to put on it. Previous projects. And down here are all the puzzle pieces. Going to work on cleaning those up too. And that's it. So we'll put this back together, and then I'll take you through the inside from underneath and show you how the mechanism and all these little levers and pulleys actually do their job to complete the puzzle. Alright, here we go. These two sets of rods and levers have been cleaned up, and I'm ready to start putting them back together. Here's some parts being polished and repainted. This is the shooter before and after, and where the balls end up before and after. The operation of this puzzle works in the following way. When a ball falls in any of these holes in this matrix here, 4x5, right after the hole, so there's there, and there, right after each hole, is these levers that push down. So the hole would be about right here. There's 4 holes and 5 columns altogether. So when a ball would fall in, it'll go past and push down on these levers. And if we look at the back side, pushing down on those levers causes this little finger to move backwards. Lever goes down right in there, and as that happens, it's pulling on this rod. Come over here, and pulling on the rod causes this to go backwards. So you see that as this rod comes across, it's blocking this hole, but as the lever gets activated, that rod slides away and clears out of the hole. Back on the top side, there are metal guides that have slots in them, and then there are rods that go through the slots, in the bottom, and right there where that little notch is, that notch catches on the piece of the rod that goes through and blocks the hole. And so looking at it from underneath, when that rod moves out of the way and clears out of the center of that hole, it allows this shaft to then be free, and it's not caught by that rod anymore. The weight of the top side of the puzzle piece sitting on this rod is such that just gravity and weight is pushing down, wanting to let this puzzle piece flip. So that wants to be pushing down right now, but that little rod going through and catching on this little notch is what's holding it from flipping. But when a ball goes over this finger, pushes it down, and slides that piece of rod, lets the latch loose, we have this situation where I'm going to put a ball in and it's going to hit just the one finger that the rod is going to hit, hold back just this one puzzle piece. So dropping this in causes it to pull on the rod that lets that one lever go. I've completed one puzzle piece. Now you can see that the puzzle piece is just sitting there by the weight of gravity. If I push it back up and that notch underneath latches back on the rod, it's reset. Getting in these lower 5 only activate those first fingers, which activate this row of puzzle pieces. But as I move up the rows, I'm going to let the ball go past and hit more and more fingers, so more and more puzzle pieces will flip. And that's why if I get it up here on top, I'm going to hit 1, 2, 3, 4 fingers. You see all 4 puzzle pieces get put in place. And the ball ends up down here. These 5 holes are lined up with the 5 columns so that getting in here is the same as getting in here. You complete the whole column. So I'll get up here. That's the same as getting here, and you'll see the entire column get completed. There's a rod currently blocking this hole, and if the ball falls in it, it sits there for the duration of the game and indicates that you get double score of whatever's on the puzzle pieces. When you reset the game, this rod pulls back and drops the ball in. Getting a ball in luck or chance holes puts the ball about right here or right here to where it hits these pins and bounces around, and so you don't know which of the lanes you're going to get into. With these wooden blocks reinstalled, I can show you an example of dropping it in luck. Went right there. But the next time, that was a different channel it went down. Same with chance. Looking at the fingers activate when an entire column gets tripped. Here comes the ball. So it was this column right in here that activated, and now this set of puzzle pieces is giving us points. So now let's look at the next column. And so if you look here, you can see the height, the different levels where the rods that are farther down or longer, those are the ones that have been tripped. These 2 rows here in the back, or these 2 columns, have not been tripped yet. So I will trip the next column and we'll watch all of those go. And I'm going to grab the ball here and do the last column right there. You can see, or you will see, all 4 of those vertical rods get activated because all 4 of these got pulled back. When it pulled back, it cleared the way so this notch could get past it. And looking at the top side, I have completed the puzzle. I've worked on several of these jigsaws, and in every case puzzle pieces were not activating properly when I got the game, and it's because this gets gummed up, greasy, starts sticking over time, and so all of this assembly has to be completely disassembled, properly cleaned up, get all the corrosion off of it, and everything's got to be moving really free and easy. And then once that's done, what I found to adjust these puzzle pieces, and likewise where these puzzle pieces are mounted on these horizontal rods, that all needs to be cleaned too and free of any corrosion or dirt and grime. What I found on these puzzle pieces, the best way to adjust them is you need to have this finger coming down, and it needs to be adjusted about where I'm showing. In other words, come off the back of the puzzle piece or the top side, and it goes down at an angle so that this vertical rod is slightly tipped back, but not too much. You can imagine if I were to take this and straighten it out so it was completely horizontal, this would be tipped even farther backwards. And if you do that, then down where it goes through this hole, it will bind when it gets through that slot. And so by taking this piece of the puzzle and have it tipped at an angle, it straightens this out, and when it gets activated, here I'll open this one up where you can see, as this is coming back up, you see the vertical rod pivoting or going through like an arcing motion, but it's not as bad of an arc or swinging back and forth as if this were completely horizontal and straightened out. So what I found about the proper place to adjust these, or this angle right in here, is so that the puzzle pieces are tipped just a tiny bit forward of being completely vertical when they're in the reset position, so like they are now. If I reset all these, you'll notice that each puzzle piece is pretty much vertical, but if anything tipped just a little bit forward, and that is adjustable by the angle of this back piece where you set it. Inside the cabinet, the balls all return through this hole and line up, and when you push this bottom lever in, you feed the next ball up into position. When you put a nickel in and push in the coin slide, two things happen. This rod comes over here and it temporarily blocks you from being able to feed balls, so you can't just hold the coin slide in and feed ball after ball. But the other thing that pushing this in does is that it pushes on this edge, which activates this mechanism. And what this does when you push it forward is it drops the entire play field, or underneath the lower part of the play field gets dropped down. When it drops down, all of the balls that are sitting here from the last game, that green plate lowers down and all the balls are allowed to get past it and get to where they feed back to the ball trough. And at the same time, when that lower green plate is going down, it actually lowers the green plate to the point where all of those little rods can re-catch with each of these puzzle pieces. The vertical rods catch those little notches, and then when you release the coin slide and the green plate comes back up, that's when it pushes all of the puzzle pieces back up and they rotate and end up in this position ready to play. So to show you that, I have balls from the last game. Some of the puzzles been made, but when I put my nickel in and push in, you'll see the green plate lower. All the balls are allowed to sneak past, and it also went down and grabbed all of the notches on all the puzzle pieces And then as I let go of the coin slide, it's going to push those vertical rods back upwards because all the notches are caught. And when I release the coin slide, the green plate came back up and all the puzzle pieces are reset. The game has a tilt mechanism. Right now this means the game is ready to play. It has not been tilted. But if I lift up on the game, it goes to tilted. Taking a look inside at the tilt mechanism, there is a plate here that can rock back and forth and show you either tilted or okay. And there is a lever that's attached to a plunger that goes through. The plunger has a seat on top of it, and then there's a ball, and this ball is larger than the balls that go on the play field, so you can't interchange them. But when the game is reset, the start of a new game, there's a lever that pushes down on this plunger and allows that ball to set in on the seat and the top of that plunger in there. Here's the other tilt mechanism out of the other game. I haven't cleaned it up yet, but on this one it's out of the game. I can show you that that ball, which is sitting on that seat and that plunger, the ball is pressing on the bottom of this tilt assembly so that the 3 stars are currently showing through the window, and if you shake the game too hard or tip it or roll it backwards, when that ball rolls off, it hits the back side of this, these little forks sticking down, and the ball pushing back on it causes it to go to the tilted display. And now the game is tilted until you reset it, pull the plunger down, and the ball goes back up on the seat. And when it comes back up, it pushes this back again to the 3-star position. In this shot you can see that all of these levers are down farther. These levers are up higher, that column. So that corresponds to all the puzzle pieces being made except for this column, the last column. It was not triggered. And so what I have here to show you is how the game resets, where when I push in on the coin slide, several things are going to happen. This is going to come down and it's going to reset that ball falling in for the tilt mechanism if it was tilted. And then also, as I push in the coin slide, it's going to push on this lever, and that lever has this rod attached to it, so as this goes forward, then that's what pushes this forward. It's just a rod that goes up and around and comes back, attaches right here. So pushing that forward will clear the double scoring ball if it falls in. And then the most important thing that's going on here is pushing this will rotate this cam right here and that one, and as those two rotate forward, they are what is holding this lower play field up into position. And so pushing forward rotates down, allows this to fall down, and as it falls down, that's when we're going to grab all of the hooks or the little notches, and so then we can reset all the puzzle pieces. So again, when I push in on this, notice how all of these levers will come down and they'll stay in the same position, but this will come down and catch them, and then they'll all return back up to the position of that last column there that never got tripped or triggered by a ball. Alright, so that's fully pressed in, and I've gone down. Now all my balls would come through here and get lined up in this trough. But here's the most important part. When I let go of this, all of these went back up again, and all of my puzzle pieces are reset. And so that action all happens by pushing in a coin. I've made reproduction decal sets for both the Jig-Saw and for the World Series, which is in the same cabinet. So there's the World Series, that's for the Jig-Saw, and this is what they look like in place. So these are available on my website at gameroomrepair.com, or you can get in touch with me and I'd be happy to give you a quote for a set. And so World's Fair, aka Jig-Saw, takes its rightful spot in the universe, sitting next to its brother, World Series. And I set it in place, just have to show you this, sorry to geek out, but started a game, all the puzzle pieces were reset, shot 5 balls, was loading number 6. The puzzle is complete on 5 balls. I'll probably never see that again, but that means that the balls fell in the uppermost holes, every single one. So Jig-Saw, welcome to the team.
For more information, visit gameroomrepair.com.